Hi, welcome back for day 2 of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. Yesterday, I introduced what we were going to be doing over the next couple of days, and I gave you a little bit of background information. I told you that you would need pen, pencil, paper, or the workbook, right, which you can obtain from the Boys and Girls Club in Perry. And hopefully there's going to be a link online under this particular video that also allows you to just download that worksheet. So anyways, we're going to get started today. Yesterday I read you a riddle, and so we're going to take another look at that riddle today, and I'm going to give you the answer and see if any of you figured out what the actual answer to the riddle was. Let me just share my screen to you. One moment, please. Right here. And here we go. This is what the riddle looked like yesterday. Who am I? I'm your constant companion. I'm your greatest helper or heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I'm completely at your command. Half the things you do, you might just as well turn over to me, and I will be able to do them quickly and correctly. I'm easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of all great individuals, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, though I work with all the precision of a machine plus the intelligence of a human. You may run me for a profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? The answer to this riddle, ladies and gentlemen, is drum roll, please. I am habit. That's right. You heard it here, folks. I am habit. Did you know that a habit can do all of those things for you? They can make you or break you, so to speak. So, yesterday we took a quick look at a worksheet called Self Awareness Evaluation, and you guys were supposed to list how aware you were of each of the 7 habits that we're going to be discussing over the next couple of weeks. We are actually going to begin our reading process today. I'm going to go through the introduction of the book, and then we'll actually take a look at part 1, and then you'll have another worksheet to complete in your workbook. Okay? Introduction. The world has totally changed since I wrote the first version of this book. Back then, there was no Facebook or Twitter. There was no smartphones. There was no DirecTV or Netflix. How boring. Even with all these changes, a few things haven't changed. Choice hasn't changed. We are still free to choose what we do with our lives. The importance of relationships hasn't changed. Relationships are still the thing that matters most. And principles such as responsibility, vision, teamwork, service, and renewal haven't changed. They still rule. That is why the 7 habits will never go out of style, because they are based on timeless principles that endure. In fact, as the world gets crazier, the 7 habits will only become more essential. There will always be a need to be proactive and take initiative. There will always be a need to seek first to understand another person before seeking to be understood. The 7 habits aren't going anywhere. Over the past many years, I've received thousands of emails and letters from teen readers all around the globe, sharing their problems and successes. Upon reading these, I picked up on three reoccurring themes. First, everyone has problems with relationships, with friends, boyfriends and girlfriends, moms and dads, aunts and uncles, you name it. So if you have relationship problems, you're not alone. Welcome to the club. Second, virtually every teen who wrote me wants to change and get better. They want to stop doing drugs or start doing better in school or lose weight or break out of the depression they are in or whatever. If you're like them, you want to get better too. Third, the seven habits really do work remarkably well. Among other things, they help you triumph over setbacks, build friendships, make smarter choices about dating and sex, do better in school, take charge of your life, build self worth, and believe it or not, even get along with your parents. A teenage girl wrote me about how learning habit one, be proactive, turned her life around. She said, in the past 6 months, I've been through a lot. The love of my life broke my heart and refused to talk to me. From there, he started up a friendship with my best friend. My parents went back and forth on divorce decisions. My brother got into drugs. My life just started falling apart. Then my mom bought this Seven Habits book, and it really changed my way of thinking. The part that stuck out was when the book said that no one can ever make you mad or ruin your day unless you let them. I always based my whole day on if one certain person talked to me or if something happened or whatnot. Now, I don't care. When something bad happens, I smile through it anyway. And when he doesn't say hi to me, I say hi to someone hotter and make my own day. It's so much easier to make your own day than to let someone else do it. All my friends have noticed a difference. I actually smile and I'm happy for once. I know you have to deal with a lot of hard things in life. You have bad hair days, people say mean things, parents get divorced, people you love pass away, accidents happen in the larger world. You have to cope with terrorism, wars, AIDS, cancer, global competition, cyberbullying, drugs, pornography, and trans fat. All that said, I believe that if you could choose any time period in which to live during the world's existence, you couldn't find a better time than now. Truly, today is the best time in history to be born. It's a far better life than what the Egyptians or Romans or Aztecs or Ming Dynasty people ever experienced. Think about it. There is more freedom, information, wealth, and opportunity available today and to more people than ever before. Consider information and technology. Through the internet, the world is at your fingertips. You have hundreds of television channels and radio stations. If you want to learn about Greek mythology, you don't have to go to the library to find an expert like your parents did when they were young. You Google it. If you want to learn how to play the guitar, make a cheesecake, or even fly a helicopter, not that I'm suggesting that, search YouTube. And there you have it. With your smartphone, you can check out the 7-day weather forecast for Jakarta or take high definition photos of your dog or view a map of every single street in the civilized world. Imagine that. And it's not slowing down. Moore's law says that the microchip's computing power doubles every 18 months. I can't wait for my hover car. The speed of change is accelerating as well. For instance, India and China are impacting everything, obviously. Companies like Amazon and Facebook spring up almost overnight and become global powerhouses. Opportunities are everywhere. We would have guessed, who would have guessed that a 28-year-old programmer named Pierre Omidyar would become an almost overnight billionaire by writing code for a company he called eBay that brings buyers and sellers together on the internet. Yep, even with the challenges of our day, it is a great time to be alive. There is so much good we can do. There are so many people we can help. As one wise leader put it, this is a magnificent time to live. It is a time when our influence can be tenfold what it might be in more tranquil times. As well, I hope you'll never forget that Uncle Ben told Spider Man, with great power comes great responsibility. No, you're not Spider Man or Katniss Everdeen, but you do have great freedom and opportunity, more than any generation that has ever lived. And with that comes great responsibility. So enjoy this new edition of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, updated for the internet age. You'll love the new language, stories, and anecdotes spread throughout the book. I wish you all my best as you build a future so bright you'll have to wear shades. Sean Covey. Okay, so not a bad intro, right? And everything that he says there is like nail on the head, including how China is affecting our nation today. Hence why we're doing online classes, right? Because we're in quarantine. So everybody's kind of doing the same thing. Now, I say that to move on to the next part. We are beginning our book today. We're beginning part 1, the setup. And we will read today, Get in the Habit. They make you or break you. Tomorrow, we will look at paradigms and principles. Okay, so today we'll cover Get in the Habit. All right, are you ready? I hope so. Let's dive in. Get in the habit. They make you or break you. Welcome. My name is Sean, and I wrote this book. I don't know how you got it. Maybe your mom gave it to you to shape you up, or maybe you bought it with your own money because the title caught your eye. Regardless of how it landed in your hands, I'm really glad you did it. Now, you just need to read it. So I want to point out that every page or every new part that we read, Sean will include a really interesting quote, something that goes along with the text that we're going to be reading about. This particular quote says, "We first make our habits, then our habits make us." And this was written by an English poet, probably a really long time ago. Okay, so let's get started. A lot of teens read books, but I wasn't one of them. I did read several book summaries, however. So if you're like I was, you may be ready to shelve this book. But before you do that, hear me out. If you promise to read on, I'll promise to make it an adventure. In fact, to keep it fun. I've stuffed it with cartoons, clever ideas, great quotes, and powerful stories about real teens from all over the world, along with a few other surprises. So, with that in mind, will you give it a try? Okay? Okay, let's dive in then. This book is based on another book that my dad, Stephen R. Covey, wrote several years ago, titled The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Surprisingly, that book has become one of the best-selling books of all time. He owes a lot of the credit for its success to me, my brothers, and sisters, however. You see, we were his guinea pigs. He tried out all of his psycho experiments on us, and that's why my brothers and sisters have major emotional problems. Haha, just kidding, siblings. Luckily, I escaped uninjured. That's funny. The cartoon, kids in the 60s jumping rope, kids today hiding in the bushes so they can like take pictures of people. That's quite hilarious and so true. Okay, so why did I write this book? I wrote it because life for teens is no playground. It's a jungle out there, and I've done my job right. This book can be like a compass to help you navigate through it. Unlike my dad's book, which was written for old people and can get really boring at times. Just kidding. I don't know. I love his dad. This book was written especially for teens and is always interesting. Although I'm a retired teenager, I still remember what it was like to be one. I could have sworn I was riding an emotional roller coaster most of the time. Looking back, I'm actually amazed that I survived. Barely. I'll never forget the time in 7th grade when I fell in love with a girl named Nicole. I told my friend Claire to tell her that I liked her. I was too scared to speak directly to girls, so I used messengers. Claire completed his mission and returned and reported. Went something like this. Hey, Sean, I told Nicole that you liked her. What'd she say? I asked impatiently. She said, Oh, Sean, he's fat. Claire laughed. I was devastated. I felt like hiding in my room and never coming out again. I vowed to hate girls for life. Luckily, my hormones prevailed and I began liking girls again. I've interviewed a lot of teens in the making of this book. I suspect that some of the struggles they shared with me will be familiar to you too. There's too much to do and not enough time. I've got school, homework, job, friends, parties, and family on top of everything else. I'm totally stressed out. Help. How can I feel good about myself when I don't match up? Everywhere I look, I'm reminded that someone else is smarter or prettier or more popular. I can't help but think if I only had her hair, her clothes, her personality, her boyfriend, then I'd be happy. If I could only get my parents off my back, I might be able to live my life. It seems like they're constantly nagging, and I can't ever seem to satisfy them. I know I'm not living the way I should. I'm into everything drugs, drinking, sex, you name it. But when I'm with my friends, I give in and I just do what everyone else is doing. I've started another diet. I think it's my fifth one this year. I really do want to change, but I just don't know if I have the discipline to stick with it. Each time I start a new diet, I have hope, but it's really only a short time before I blow it, and then I just feel awful. I'm not doing too well in school right now. If I don't get my grades up, I'm never going to get into college. I'm moody and get depressed often, and I don't know what to do about it. I feel as if my life is out of control. Dude, these problems are real, and you can't turn off real life. I won't pretend you can. Instead, I'll give you a set of tools to help you deal with real life. What are they? The 7 habits of highly effective teens. Or, said another way, the 7 characteristics that happy and successful teens all over the world have in common. By now, you're probably wondering what these habits are. So, I might as well end the suspense. Here they are, followed by a brief explanation. Habit 1, be proactive. Take responsibility for your life. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Define your mission and goals in life. Habit 3, put first things first. Prioritize and do the most important things first. Habit 4, think win win. Have an everyone can win attitude. Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listen to people sincerely. Habit 6, synergize. Work together to achieve more. Habit 7, sharpen the saw. Renew yourself regularly. And if you were going to put it into tree form, here you go. Habit 1, be proactive. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Habit 3, put first things first. Those are all considered private victories. Habit 4, think win win. Habit 5, seek first to be understood. To understand, then to be understood. Habit 6, synergize. Those are considered public victories. Habit 7, sharpen your saw. And there's your renewal. Okay? As the above diagram shows, the habits build upon one another. Habits 1, 2, and 3 deal with self mastery. We call it the private victory. Habits 4, 5, and 6 deal with relationships and teamwork. We call it a public victory. You've got to get your personal act together before you can be a good team player. That's why the private victory comes before the public victory. And the last habit, habit 7, is the habit of renewal. It feeds all of the other 6 habits. The habits seem pretty simple, don't they? But just wait till you see how powerful they can be. One great way to understand what the habits are is to understand what they are not. So, here are the opposites, or the 7 habits of highly defective teams. Habit 1, react. Blame all of your problems on your parents, your stupid teachers, your lousy neighborhood, your boy or girlfriend, the government, or something or somebody else. Be a victim. Take no responsibility for your life. If you're hungry, eat. If you're bored, make trouble. If someone yells at you, yell back. If you feel like doing something you know is wrong, go for it. Habit 2, begin with no end in mind. Don't have a plan. Avoid at avoid goals at all costs and never think about tomorrow. Why worry about the consequences of your actions? Live for the moment. Do foolish things and party on, for tomorrow you die. Habit 3, put first things last. Whatever is most important in your life, don't do it until you have spent sufficient time watching videos of cute animals on YouTube, texting endlessly, and lounging around. Always put off studying until tomorrow. Make sure that fun things come before important things. Habit 4, think, win, lose. See life as a vicious competition. If you want to be at the top of the popularity list, you'd better knock someone else off first. Don't let anyone else succeed at anything because remember, if they win, you lose. If it looks like you're going to lose, however, make sure you drag that sucker down with you. Habit 5, seek first to talk, then pretend to listen. You were born with a mouth, so use it. Talk a lot. Always express your side of the story first. Once everyone understands your views, pretend to listen to theirs by nodding and saying, uh-huh, while daydreaming about what's for lunch. Or if you really want their opinion, give it to them. Habit 6, don't cooperate. Let's face it, other people are weird because they're different from you. So why try to get along with them? Teamwork's for the dogs. Since you always have the best ideas, you're better off doing everything by yourself. Be your own island. Habit 7, wear yourself out. Be so busy with life that you never take time to renew or improve yourself. Never study, don't learn anything new, avoid exercise like the plague, and for heaven's sake, stay away from good books, nature, or anything else that may inspire you. I'm going to ace this test. I studied all night. And he falls asleep. Possibly I've seen that before. Now, as you can see, the habits listed above are recipes for disaster, yet many of us indulge in them regularly, me included. And given this, it's no wonder that life can really stink at times. So, what exactly are habits? Habits are things we do repeatedly, but most of the time we're hardly aware that we even have them. They're on autopilot. Some habits are good, such as exercising regularly, planning ahead, and showing respect for others. Some habits are bad, including thinking negatively, feeling inferior, and blaming others. And some don't really matter at all, like taking showers before bed instead of in the morning, putting hot sauce on every meal, listening to music while you exercise. Depending on what they are, our habits will either make us or break us. We become what we repeatedly do. As writer Samuel Smiles put it, sow a thought and you reap an act, sow an act and you reap a habit, sow a habit and you reap a character, sow a character and you reap a destiny. Luckily, you are stronger than your habits. You can change them. For example, try folding your arms. Now, fold them in the opposite way. Feels pretty strange, right? But if you fold them in the opposite way for 30 days in a row, it wouldn't feel so strange. You wouldn't even have to think about it. You'd get in the habit. At any time, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I don't like that about myself. And you can change a bad habit for a better one. It may not always be easy, but it's always possible. Maybe not every idea in this book will work for you, but you don't have to be perfect to see results either. Just living some of the habits some of the time can help you experience changes in your life you never thought possible. The 7 habits can help you get control of your life, improve your relationships with your friends, make smarter decisions, get along with your parents, overcome addictions and self-destructive habits, define your values and what matters most to you, get more done in less time, increase your self-confidence, be happy, and find balance between school, work, friends, dating, and everything else. One final point. It's your book, so use it. Get out a pen and a highlighter and mark it up. Don't be afraid to underline, circle, or bookmark your favorite ideas. Take notes, scribble, reread the stories that inspire you, and memorize the quotes that give you hope. Try doing the baby steps. At the end of each chapter, which were designed to help you start living the habits immediately, excuse me, you'll get a lot more out of the book if you do. You may also want to check out the hotlines and websites listed at the back of the book for additional help or information. If you're the kind of reader who likes to skip around looking for cartoons and tidbits, that's fine. But at some point, you ought to read the book from start to finish because the 7 habits are sequential. Each chapter builds on the last. Habit 1 comes before habit 2, and so on, for a reason. So, what do you say? Make my day, and let's read this book. Coming attractions. Up next, we'll take a look at the 10 dumbest statements you've ever made. No, ever made, sorry. You don't want to miss them. So tomorrow we'll read on. Today I have an assignment for you. So hopefully you enjoyed that first little section, the intro and habits can make or break you. And I do have, I'm going to switch back to this view. Hello. Because I do have another worksheet that I want to share with you. So if you are someone who has the workbook at home, or if you're working on notebook paper, that's fine. This will be super easy for you to do. I'm going to show you my copy first, my example, and then I'm going to put the clean example up for you. And of course, use this video as a reference. If you need to come back to my video at any time to see my example, by all means, you're welcome here, okay? All right, let me go to share screen, and let's see, it's this one. Okay, so here we have 7 habits, effective versus defective. So I thought it was pretty funny reading through all those defective, and I get a little animated, you guys. I'm sorry. I love drama and theater and all that fun stuff. So just bear with me here. If I'm a little extra sometimes, you'll get used to it. It'll be okay. All right. So here you see I've used be proactive as the example for our worksheet. And the first part is going to be to define the effective habit. I've defined your effective habit here. Being proactive means looking ahead and being ready for what might happen. Okay. So if I'm acting proactively, then I'm looking ahead and I'm ready for what's coming at me. Meaning I've set my goals and I have a plan. I know what to expect. I know what the outcome should be. All right, second box here, define the defective habit. So the opposite of your effective habit would be the defective habit. So being proactive versus being defeated, okay? And being defeated because the task at hand seems too hard to complete, procrastinating, putting off a task because of fear of failure, and in some cases, um, fear of success. I've determined procrastination is definitely fear of success, so I actually need to add that. And procrastinating, putting off a task because of laziness. Okay, so those are my examples. You use a different habit. Don't copy my worksheet. All right, box 4 is draw an example of the effective habit. So I drew, the choo-choo train. I can do it because you finally made it to the top of the hill, right? And then draw an example of the defective habit. Here I am. Friday night I'm partying. Saturday I'm chilling, listening to music all day. Sunday I'm watching TV. And Sunday night I'm freaking out because, oh my gosh, I have a test on Monday and I haven't studied algebra. What's that? Okay. So then the very last part is where you're going to compare and contrast the effective and the defective habit. So here for proactive, I put the effective habit has a positive approach and focuses on being successful and completing the task, while the defective habit shows that things don't get done correctly, if at all. The effective habit demonstrates confidence. The defective habit demonstrates a panic, okay, which is what we have here in the choo-choo train. I can do it versus I'll do it later. Oh my gosh, now I have no time left. Okay, so let me stop sharing this screen and I'm going to share your worksheet. So whether you're working in the workbook and you have this exact copy, or whether you are drawing it at home, it's really simple. You've got the title on top, 7 habits, effective versus defective. Write in the habits that we covered today. And we're just hitting the ground running here. This is a whole book that we're going to read together. So what do you know now based on just what we've covered today? So choose a habit that's not proactive, define the effective habit, define the defective habit, go back to the video, listen to where I was reading to you and read along with those defective habits. Then you're going to draw the example of your effective habit and draw the example of the defective habit. And then last but absolutely not least, because after all, this is an ELA class, you're going to compare and contrast the effective and the defective habit. Okay, this is your homework. Please do it. Please share it. I look forward to seeing all of your responses. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you tomorrow. Toodle-doo.